Now that we've done volume of prisms, we're going to take that and use it to help us find the volume of a pyramid. So our essential question is, how does the volume of a prism relate to the volume of a pyramid? So if you were with us in class, you got to see how those two related to each other. But it basically comes down to this. The volume of a pyramid is equal to 1/3 the volume of a prism with the same measurements. So basically think of it as the same base, it has the same height, it has the same length, all the measurements are the same except one's a pyramid instead of a prism. It's basically going to be 1/3 the size. So it takes 3 pyramids to be equal to 1 prism with the same dimensions. So to find the volume, whether it's a rectangular or a triangular pyramid, you're going to find the area of the base shape, times the height, but because we only want 1/3 of it, we're going to divide by 3. Or sometimes you'll see it written as 1/3 big B times H. And the whole key is remembering that big capital B means find the area of the base, multiply times your height, and then divide it by 3. So let's see that in action. So your base is always kind of what it's sitting on. It's not the triangular sides. So to find the volume, we find the area of the base, 3.2 times 1.4. We multiply times the height, 2.8. But then it's a pyramid, so I just want it to be 1/3. I'm going to divide by 3. So 3.2 times 1.4 times 2.8 divided by 3 gives me a volume of 4.18. We're dealing in inches, so it's going to be inches cubed. So volume is the same way. Area of the base, big B, times the height, but then we just add and that divided by 3. Since it goes up to a point instead of a solid shape, it's only 1/3 the volume of the original. So next one, again, focus on the base, big B. So my volume is the area of the base, 8.1 times 6.4, but it's a triangular base, so I have to divide by 2. So I find the area of this base shape. Then I multiply times my height, my distance going up, that's 11, and then because it's a pyramid, it's only going to be 1/3 of it, since we're missing a lot of that shape. So here I'm going to do 8.1 times 6.4 divided by 2. Then I'm going to multiply times 11 and divide by 3. So focus on pieces. Big B times the height divided by 3. In this case, my volume would be 95.04 meters cubed. Okay. So area of the base times the height, but then we throw in that divided by 3. So pause, try these 3 for yourself, see if you really know what you're talking about, then hit play and see what my answers are when you are finished. All right, so my base, remember volume is equal to big B, area of the base, times the height, divided by 3. So my base is 1.5 times 1.5, it's a square, times my height, which is 2, and then I got to divide by 3. So I type it into my calculator, and I get a volume of 1.5 inches cubed. Because of that divided by 3, it's really going to shrink that volume down. So the volume is not going to be near as big as you would have predicted. All right, volume is equal to big B times H. So that's the area of my base. In this case, it's another square. So I'm going to do base times height, 8.2 times 8.2. Then I multiply times my height. That's the distance going up to the point. That's my 5.3. And then don't forget you're divided by 3 at the end because it's a pyramid. So 8.2 times 8.2 times 5.3 divided by 3 gives me 118.79 inches cubed because it's always volume, or is always cubed for volume. Last one, my base is a triangle. Remember, you need your base and your height, the two measurements that meet at a right angle. So I do 9 times 9, but it's a triangle, so I divide by 2. Then I multiply times my height, which is my 15, and divide it by 3. So 9 times 9 divided by 2 for my triangular base, times my height of 15 divided by 3, and I get 202.5 inches cubed. Volume is always cubed. Length times width times height. Last one's working backwards. So we're going to do this with both a prism and both a prism and a triangular prism here. Okay, so these aren't pyramids, they're just prisms. But start by using your formula. To find volume, I'm going to find the area of the base times my height. So my volume, let's put my numbers in place. So my volume is 84, is equal to the area of my base, 4 times 6, times my height. And that's what I want to figure out. So 84 is equal to 24 times h. So now I just solve it like an equation. I divide by 24. 84 divided by 24 is going to give me a height of 3.5. We're dealing in meters, so meters. But always go back to the formula, fill in what you know. So here, it's a triangular prism. So my volume, again, is equal to area of my base. So here's my base, my triangle, times the height. So plug in what you know. My volume is 54. The area of the base is 4, my base, times my height. 4 times 3, but it's a triangle, so I have to divide by 2, and then times my height. So do the math you can see. 4 times 3 is 12, divided by 2 is 6, times my height is equal to my volume. Work my equation backwards, and I get h is equal to 9, in this case, inches. So plug in what you know, but focus on how do I calculate the area of that base, and then work backwards to find. Now we're going to work backwards with our pyramids, but again, start with the formula. But remember, this time you got to worry about your divided by 3. So volume is equal to area of the base times the height divided by 3. So focus on your base. 5 by 9. So volume is 90. Area of the base is 5 times 9 times the height divided by 3. So do what math you can do. 5 times 9 is 45 times h divided by 3. Drag us down a little bit. Sorry about that. So 45 divided by 3. I'm going to do that math. 45 divided by 3 is 15 times my height is equal to 90. So I'm just doing as much math as I can over on that right-hand side. Now I'm going to divide by 15. H is equal to 6, in this case, inches. Same thing here. This one's a little trickier simply because your base is a triangle. So again, for the area of a triangle, you need the base and the height. So volume is equal to area of the base times the height divided by 3. So my volume is 44. The area of the base is base times height, but it's a triangle, so I got to divide by 2, times the height, and then divided by 3. So 3 times 8 is 24, divided by 2 is 12, times the height, divided by 3 is equal to 44. Then I do the math. 12 divided by 3 is 4, times the height is 44. So then you can kind of see where it's going to end up. I'm going to divide both sides by 4, and 11 meters is equal to my height. So I plug in what I know, I work it backwards, do whatever math I can, and then solve it like an equation. So my missing measurement is 11 meters.